Good morning. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive, and I'm here with three of the key people in our Parks, Recreation, and Conservation Department for our Facebook Live conversation. This is Friday, the 24th of June, and I'm happy to be joined today by Kathy O'Connor, who's our Commissioner of Parks, Recreation, and Conservation, Peter Tartaglia, who's our First Deputy Commissioner, and Jonathon Benjamin, who is our Curator at Muscoot Farm, one of our premier facilities located up in Somers. So, lady, gentlemen, very nice to have you with us here by benefit of electronics.
Good morning.
Good morning, all.
George.
So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the programs that we've been able to maintain as a recreation department in the area of day camps in Westchester County. Just to set the stage, with the COVID outbreak coming in March, we had to look at every element of our Parks and Recreation department to determine what could we do in light of requirements for social distancing, for masking, for making sure that there was proper hand sanitization. We have 55 parks across Westchester County and a variety of things. We have golf courses, we have nature centers, we have public pools, beaches, places where you can walk and hike in the woods. We obviously have the very unique Playland amusement park and a variety of other types of places that you can enjoy. Over the course of this COVID period of time, we gave up use of the Westchester County Center, which is our arena, as use as a medical facility, and we gave up Glen Island, which is one of our largest and most well-used parks, for testing. We've also looked at all of the other different functions with our 6 public golf courses, as I've mentioned, opening our 2 beaches and our 6 pools, 4 pools out of the 5 that we have. What we've also done, however, is to try to maintain some presence for our summer day camps. And those day camps are of different nature and size, and that's what we're going to chat about today. Certainly at Muscoot Farm, which is a very unique facility that we have, which has live animals and is a working farm. Jonathon is going to tell us a little bit about what that experience is like. I remember the last time he and I were together, it was Groundhog Day, a year ago, Groundhog Day. And instead of waiting for a groundhog to pop out to determine whether it was going to be more winter or not, those things never seem to quite go with what actually happens. We were waiting for an egg to be hatched or laid. I forget what it was, but it was quite a nice experience. So Jonathon, straight from Groundhog Day, let's talk a little bit about some of the camp work that you're doing at Muscoot and how that is satisfying the young kids and the parents at your facility.
Great. Well, thank you for letting me come on here. So far, camp, it's today is our last day of week 3. So I think we've adapted pretty well to given the circumstances. All of our counselors, all of our campers are required to wear masks and social distance. And honestly, I'm so proud of all the campers and all the counselors. They've done such a good job. It's just like to use a farm term, it's like a duck to water. They've really just taken to it. And, we've had to kind of change a few things. So we used to be able to do a lot of cooking and a lot of tours with the animals. But honestly, everyone still gets a lot of animal time. We've replaced some things with hikes. We've implemented a lot of games. We use a lot of garden time. And they've just really enjoyed it so far.
How many young kids, Jonathon, are served in the program? How do you break them up into groups, and what kind of supervision do you have per group?
Absolutely. So when we found out that, per the orders, we wanted to make sure that we were keeping the groups kind of small in size, but also static. So right now, our groups sizes are no more than 10 per kid or per group. And with that comes 2 counselors and also a floater counselor. So that would mean that basically if we're going on a hike, that the kids go out, there's 2 campers with them or counselors with them at all times. And then we have an additional floater in case a kid needs to go back to the restroom or anything like that. And with the groups being static, they don't share spaces. So we make sure that we run even if there's, a thunderstorm or anything like that. So there are indoor spaces, but we keep them static. Only those groups go in those spaces all week long. And we're constantly sanitizing and making sure that those spaces are clean and ready for our groups. Today after camp's over, we'll start a real deep clean for the group that starts again on Monday.
And these are weekday day camps as they are structured?
Yeah, so they sign up for a Monday to Friday camp, and each day they do something different. So Monday they'll come in. We check everybody's temperature before they come in, and then once they get here, they'll go with their group, and it's a variety of activities. They're maybe doing poetry. They're maybe doing time in our garden. Sometimes they spend time out at our, as you see here, our ice pond. And then honestly, they could be making candles, or they could be drawing or painting. So each day is something very different here at the farm, and they get lots and lots of animal time, which really I think is the main reason. I like to think that it's a variety of things, but really the animals are the main draw, I think.
And Jonathan, just one more question before we go to Kathy and Peter. Just tell us what happens on the weekends at Muscoot. If individual wanted to go up and stop by Muscoot on the weekends without benefit of a day camp program, as we've been talking about, what can they see and do at Muscoot?
Absolutely. So Muscoot Farm has about 7 miles of hiking trails that have been getting a lot of use since all of this started. And we have trails that you're still able to see the animals. So when you show up here, you can walk those trails and get pretty up close and personal with our cows and sheep and horses and goats. On top of that, on Sundays, every Sunday from 9:30 to 2:30, we have our Muscoot Farmers Market, and you can show up, and there's about anywhere between 10 to 20 vendors given whatever week we have, and you can come through and shop from local vendors and get to see the farm in the process as well.
We've been talking with Jonathan Benjamin, who is a curator at Muscoot Farm. Jonathan, thanks you for your excellent work there. And we encourage everybody to stop by Muscoot, which is located on Route 100, just south of Route 35 in the town of Somers. It's in the northern part of the county. Beautiful country, not very far from our Lasden facility, which has a very different footprint with a host of other different activities going on there. So let's turn to the departmental leadership, Kathy O'Connor and Pete Tartaglia. This is one example of day camp programs. Let's talk about the other day camp programs that you have around the county for kids that are underway right now.
Sure, George, it's my pleasure. And as Jonathan said, he's proud of those counselors. I have to say I'm proud of the whole department because, as you know, you've been at a lot of our facilities since March. And the challenge of making it exciting, keeping it safe, and also dealing with the parental scenario has really been interesting. And overall, thank God, I think our staff has really jumped on and really taken it very seriously. I have to just mention one thing. At Muscoot, the only criticism that we've had so far from parents is that we were too strict, which is interesting. I'll take too strict as opposed to being too lax. So we're very proud of Jonathan and what goes on at Muscoot. The other three camps are very different. We have Cranberry Lake Preserve, which is in northern White Plains. And then we have Lenoir Preserve at Yonkers. Those are a little bit more traditional nature camps. The difference there is that it's very weather dependent. If we have bad weather, we are not allowing the children to go inside. We don't have that type of facility. At Muscoot, we have a bigger room that we can put people in and children in, so that works out. But at Cranberry and at Lenoir, it's the same thing. Very talented staff. Social distancing is paramount. And the children, as usual, they adapt really, really well, probably better than some of the adults. We're making our own masks in some cases, or they bring them from home. They're very much engaged. At Marshlands, which is obviously down in Rye, we have 2 sessions a day. And same thing, lots of outside. It's all outside work because, again, we don't have a facility for them to go inside. But it's been really, really a positive experience. And then finally, up at Ward Pound Ridge, Trailside Museum, the nature camp up there, it's completely different in that we've done a family box program model, and we've given each camper a box with a lot of natural things, activities to do, and they do it along with the parent or the guardian. So that's a whole nother experience, and we now have adults actually really doing the camp experience as something very unique. But all in all, they're going really, really well, and they're all fully. The attendance is all full. There's no further room.
Now, Peter, you've had to go through a different kind of protocol for this year's camp programs than you've had in the past. When I was down at Lenoir to start the program, I saw there's a sort of a different way that the kids get intercepted and how they get tested before they get started. Can you walk us through now what are the additional COVID protective actions that have been taken that make this different from what we may have had in the past?
Sure. Thank you, George. And as Kathy and Jonathan said, we're really very proud of our department. During these difficult times, we're able to allow kids to have camp and have some normalcy, which has been great for children and their parents. Yeah, things have changed. We do have guidelines from New York State. We do go above and beyond those guidelines. Depending on the geography of the entrance of one of our camps, there may be 2 checkpoints. There may be parents unloading or letting their children out at 2 different locations or 3 different locations, depending on the geography. We're trying to social distance. We're also trying to what we call touch points everywhere. This is any of our facilities. We're trying to take away as many touch points as possible, like touching equipment at Muscoot or touching equipment anywhere in our parks. We're also, as we mentioned earlier, each day, our staff and campers are asked several questions about their health, and their temperature is taken prior. So we are really following the letter of the law as this goes. We do give out what these are called gaiters, which are basically masks you put over your head for the child, and it's kind of a nice thing. They call them gaiters. The kids think they're cool. But if the parent is not, comfortable with that type of a mask, of course, any kind of mask that they bring is certainly acceptable. Someone said to me yesterday that the kids are smiling underneath the masks. So that to me that's a good sign and sort of a sign of the times that we're living in. But yeah, we're doing a lot. The kids need to wear their masks all day. And we have social distancing personnel at each one of the camps, and their sole job is really to go around the camp during the day and make sure that everybody is, gentle reminders. It's a new world, and we want to be gentle in our reminders, especially when we're dealing with younger children. But it's been working out great.
So we have, even within the restrictions of limitation of number of people attending, we have a day camp program that's open and operative during the summertime. We have our 6 golf courses that have been opened since we reopened them at the end of May, beginning of June. We have a Bicycle Sunday extended throughout the whole of July and August, and that's an expansion of a service that we had before. We want to thank the Westchester Parks Foundation, Con Edison, and the Moriarty family for being essential contributors to the expansion of Bicycle Sunday. Kathy, you've had to go through some very specific protocols in order to open our 2 beaches, which have been open now for about a month and a half, almost 2 months, and our 4 pools that have been open since the very end of June. And just for the folks who are listening who may not know that, the 2 beaches we have that are open are Playland Beach and Croton Point Park Beach. Our 4 pools are Saxon Woods in White Plains, Wilson Woods in Mount Vernon, Tibbetts Brook Park pool in the heart of Yonkers, and then up on the Yonkers Greenberg Hastings border, Sprain Ridge, which has 2 pools there. So different protocol for the pools and the beaches. Kathy, just kind of explain what you had to go through managerially to get these beaches open and these pools open.
Sure. The beaches have a little bit of a different scenario. They are a 1 session. They're open. Our normal session is 11 to 6:30. So both Croton and Playland are open from 11 to 6:30, 1 session. On the boardwalk, and then getting into Croton, we have very strict protocol. We have people. We hired a number of staff that simply are social distance promoters, I should say. And we also are taking contact tracing information. And I have to say, and I've witnessed it a lot now, the public is pretty open to doing that. God forbid we have a situation, we'll be able to see who was at what facility on what day, and that might help. So the beaches, everything is, separated. And then once they're on the beach, we actually have staff that walk on the beach. These are not the lifeguards. The lifeguards are doing their job, their normal job. But on the beach, actually, in both places, we have staff that are, as Peter mentioned, we are trying not to be confrontational, nicely saying, please separate, or if they get up to go to the ladies' room and men's room, whatever, they must be wearing a mask if they can't stay 6 feet apart. At the pools, the 4 pools, it's a little bit different in that we have 2 sessions, and that's what we decided. And honestly, it's been well received, which is a wonderful thing for us. The first session is 11 to 2, and then we do a massive cleaning from 2 to 3, and then we reopen all the pools from 3 to 6. At 6 o'clock ish, people are gone, and then we do another massive cleaning from 6 to 7 ish, just to get ready for the next day. Again, we have people right on staff, right on the board, on the pool decks, literally walking around nicely, and they are all identified as parks employees, gently reminding people to put a mask on if they're getting up to go to the snack bar or whatever, or if they're sitting too close. And George, honestly, and it's been the hottest summer that I can remember. So we've really been tested, but and also what's really important is that we're only at 50% capacity at every facility, whether it's a beach or a pool. And we've reached it a couple of times, particularly at Playland, but overall it's working, thank God. And we are cleaning constantly, not just between the 2 and 3, but throughout all day. We have staff that walks around with the cleaning materials and wiping down any touch spot, the handrails. The lifeguards are responsible for when they move from chair to chair, they wipe down the chair that they were in, and then they have a mask on too, going from chair to chair. So the rules are stringent, but thankfully everybody and all our staff have masks on, throughout the day. So, fingers crossed, so far it seems to be working.
Now, Peter, and this will be the final question of our conversation. COVID-19 has given us a big lemon. Let's be candid. Everything is different. We've described the different ways we have to function in order to go forward. But you've also gotten together and made some lemonade out of this big lemon. The Playland parking lot, it's not being used to house people at Playland because we made the decision to close Playland Amusement Park because we didn't think that we could socially distance properly there. Kensico Dam Plaza usually is busy most weekends at this time of the year with ethnic festivals, and we couldn't do those events because we couldn't socially distance and ensure the reduction of a spread. The fact that we've had golf, a bicycle Sunday, pools, beaches, and day camps show that we're trying to open things that we can, but we close things that we can't. So we have Playland parking lot closed, and now we've used Playland parking lot for the Rye Neck High School graduation, and there's a caravan launching off point for the Rye High School graduation, and you're now making lemonade out of it both there and in Kensico Dam by having drive-in movies on Friday nights. Can you tell us just a little bit about the upcoming 3 dates that are set for movies? I assume we're going to be looking at family-friendly movies so that mom, dad, and the kids can all get in a car and come to either Playland or Kensico and enjoy this this unique opportunity to have drive-in movies once again.
Yes. Lemons. We are trying to make the lemonade. We started with 2 movies at Kensico. One of them was unfortunately a rain out, but we have a date now on August 21st to redo that movie. That was The Secret Life of Pets. When I say rain out, it really wasn't the rain; it was the lightning and thunder in the area. That is the one obstacle we can't overcome to show a movie, even though you could be in your car. And we also have Wonder Park at Kensico Dam on Friday, August 14th. That is sold out, as well as the first movie, which has a rain date. Then we added 2 movies at Playland. The first one will be Aladdin on July 31st. Tickets went on sale for that on Wednesday. By very early Thursday morning, they were sold out. Following that will be Doolittle, which will be on the 7th of August. And tickets for those go on sale. And when I say tickets, it's ticket per car. Ticket per car goes on sale next Wednesday at 2 o'clock. All 4 of these movies are family friendly. The Kensico movies are animated movies. The Playland movies are what they call a combo of action and animation. We're all in the PG range. So we're very excited to be able to do this. Activity is so important to everybody, and not having the amusement park does create a different world for the public. But when you go down to the beach, as Kathy said, we have tons of people down there, people walking on the boardwalk, the local people, and people who probably, some people who haven't known about Playland, just were looking for places to walk and get exercise. And that happened at many of our parks. We have a lot of new customers that, Croton Gorge became very, very crowded. Croton Point Park, Ward Pound Ridge, or our northern parks saw a lot of new activity and new visitors early on from March, when the weather was good and we were trying to, keep the parks open and allow people to get out for their physical and their mental health. It's very important, and we think about that every single day as we try to do this.
So we've been talking with Kathy O'Connor, who is our Commissioner of Parks, Recreation, and Conservation, Peter Tartaglia, our first Deputy Commissioner, same department, PRC, and Jonathon Benjamin, who's our Curator at Muscoot Farms. And just to sort of recap what we've heard, we have drive-in movies scheduled for a week from tonight, the 31st of July, and the following week, August 7th at Playland. I think they're all sold out, but the bottom line is they're happening on those 2 nights. And then a Kensico on the 14th, and then the rain out date on the 21st, Friday night. So 4 straight nights starting a week from tonight. We have our Friday night drive-in movies at 2 of our major facilities. We have all of our parks open, with the exception of Playland Amusement Park and Croton Gorge Park on the weekends. It's open during the week for your enjoyment, but not on the weekends because of the concentration of traffic. We have Bicycle Sundays going all summer long. Our miniature golf facilities, there's 3 of them at Saxon Woods, at Playland, and at Tibbetts Brook. They're open and operative. The boardwalk at Playland is open. The 2 beaches and the 4 pools are open. And even in the age of COVID, with all of that, we have not increased the spread. There was a lot of fear, even way back when we first started with the public golf courses, that somehow by opening up these recreational facilities, we would increase the spread. We're sitting here on this date of the 24th of July. We've had 3+ months of reduction in the expansion of the infection in Westchester County. So we must be doing something right at the pools. We must be doing something right at the beaches and in the other places we're open. And I want to thank Kathy and Peter, Jonathon, and by extension, the other curators at our other facilities for doing really a terrific job. And while the Westchester residents may not know you individually, they enjoy the facilities because of your hard work. And I thank you all for being with me this morning.
Thank you.
I'm George Latimer,
you.
Westchester County Executive. Thanks for tuning in to Facebook Live. We'll be doing these on a regular weekly basis. Again, just to give you some information about things that are happening in our county, give you an idea that while we are still battling the COVID crisis and we have other major issues at hand, we're still doing the business of government every single day to the best of our ability. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe.